Hello everyone, here is the next module in which we are discussing about iteration statements in Python. Iteration statements means which allows us to execute the set of statements repeatedly as long as certain condition is true. That means if the condition will become false, then only we'll stop executing those set of statements which are executed repeatedly. Iteration statements are also known as looping statements. Python provides two types of loop, for loop and while loop. For loop is known as counting loop, which means that the loop will execute a certain number of times which is known in advance. While loop is known as conditional loop, which means that the certain condition remains true, the loop will execute only that many times up to which the condition remains true. Now the next function that we have to discuss, as we want to discuss the for loop, before discussing the for loop we have to discuss range. Range function means it will give you the elements in some sequence manner. It is used in for loop. Range will generate list of values, and list is a sequence, which means successive values bounded by a single name. There are three different syntaxes of range function, which are as follows. First syntax is range and we write stop. Here it will be having by default the start value as 0 and it will stop at the value stop -1. That means if we have written range 7, it will start from 0 and will stop at 7 minus 1, that is 6. Range 10 means it will start from 0 and will stop at 10 minus 1, 9. Now the second syntax is range start comma stop, which means it will start generating the list of values from the start value that is specified and will stop at stop -1. Like we have written range 2,7. 2,7 means it will start from 2 and will stop at 7 minus 1, that is 6. So it will be having the list of values as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next example is range 5,10. Will start at 5 and will stop at 10 minus 1, that is 9. So it will be having the list of values 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the range function next syntax is, third syntax is range start stop step. That means here we will be having the start value, specific value, stop value, and there will be some specific step value also. Example, if we have the range 5, 15, 3, this means that 5 is the start value, 15 is the stop value, and 3 is the step value. So it will be having the list of values as 5, and to generate the next list of value we need to add the step value in the previous list of values. So 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 3, for the next value we will add 3 in the previous value, that is in 8. We'll add 3 and we'll get the next value, that is 11. And we'll add again 3 and we get 14. And from this range or the stop value here, it is indicated, it means that we have to stop at 15 minus 1 at 14. If we take the next value in this range, that will be 17 and we don't have to move to 17. Next example is 9, 3, -1, which means that we have to start from 9 and we have to decrease the value by 1. So we will be having the values as 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and we have to stop before 3. Now the next loop is for loop, as we have discussed about the range function that will be used in this loop, and for loop is used to iterate over the items of any sequence. That sequence can be list, that sequence can be string or anything. So for variable in sequence, we have the different set of statements which are to be repeated. Example, for I in range 3, 5, print I. So that means it will be going to print the values 3 and 4. The second example is for C in calm, print C. That means it is going to print each and every character of the string in the separate lines. So the output of both the loops will be 3, 4, or 3 or 4 will be the output of this example, first example, and the output of the second example is CALM will be printed in separate lines. Now the next example is for V in 1, 2, 3. So here, rather than using range or using string, we have used another sequence, that is list. Here it will be going to print the different list of values which are represented here. So for V in 1, 2, 3, it will be going to give you the cube of these values, because we have written in the loop body V multiply by V multiply by V. So for when the value of V will be 1, it will be going to print the cube of 1, that is 1. When the value of V will be 2, it will be going to print the cube of 2, that is 8. When the value of V will be 3, it will be going to print the cube of 3, that is 27. Now the next example is, if we want to print the sum of natural numbers between 1 to 7, and every time the successive outputs should be printed in the sequence. So for this, what we need to do? We will write the print statement within the body of loop, like sum equal to 0 for I in range 1, 8, as we have to take the values from 1 to 7. So we will print the sum of natural numbers less than equal to n will be sum, and that should be printed. See, this print statement is the part of body of loop, as the indentation of both the statements is same. If we make this print statement indented at the same level as the for loop, then this statement will not be the part of body of loop. This will come out of the loop. So here, as we have to display the successive sum values, that's why we have taken this print statement within the body of loop. So it will print, for when I will be 1, it will print sum of natural numbers less than equal to 1 is 1. When I will be 2, it will print sum of natural numbers less than equal to 2 is 3, and will print so on for all the iterations of loop. Now the next loop or the second loop is while loop, which is also known as conditional loop. That means it will repeat the set of statements until and unless certain condition remains true. And when the condition will become false, the control will come out of the loop. Next point is, for loop as well as while loop are the examples of entry control loop. That means they check the test expression or they check the condition before entering into the loop, and Python doesn't offer any exit controlled loop. The general syntax of while loop is while, logical expression, and the body of loop. Remember that we have to put colon after while statement as well as after for statement, as these two statements are also compound statements which has a header as well as body. Now 4 different parts of loop is initialization expression, which means before entering into the loop we have to initialize the loop variable, and initialization expression means it will get the first value of the loop variable and executes only once before entering into the loop. Test expression means we have to check every time a test expression or a condition. If that condition evaluates to true, loop body will get executed, otherwise the loop body will get terminated. Body of loop means The statements that are executed repeatedly are known as the body of loop. Update expression means the expression which is going to change the value of loop variable after each and every iteration. Now we have to study some situations which make our loop infinite. First, if we make the test expression always evaluating to true, then that makes the loop infinite. Suppose we have written while true, print hello. So it will go on printing hello infinite times, as the test expression will never evaluate to false. Second scenario is, if we miss the update expression, then also it will make the loop infinite. Suppose we have written a equal to 5, a greater than 0, print a. So if we are writing just these three statements, it will go on printing 5, and that will go on printing up to infinite times. We have written print thank you, and that thank you will not be printed because the loop will not be exited, as the test expression will always remain true because there is no update expression. The third scenario is, if the update expression always remains true. How? That is, a equal to 5 while a greater than 0, print a. We have used the update expression, but that update expression should be decreased so that it should go to 0. Rather than decreasing, we have made it to increase. So that means it will be having the value initially 5 will be printed. Next time it will be having the value 6. So 6 is also greater than 0. Next time 7 is also greater than 0, and will continue up to infinite times, as infinity is also greater than 0. So the test expression will never evaluate to false. It will always remains true. That's why the loop will become infinite. So here are the three scenarios through which we can make our loop infinite. Now, how to stop the infinite loop? By pressing the Ctrl plus C key from the keyboard, you can interrupt the infinite loop, and this gives you the message of keyboard interrupt when you will run it on ideally. Thank you all for watching the module. If you have any doubts, please write in the comment section of the video. If the concept is clear, hit the like button.